Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Helen and today I'm going to talk about fashion for those of us, including myself, who don't feel connected at all to the trends that we're seeing on Instagram or even in the stores because we're not 20. Or we are 20, we just don't necessarily want to dress in this heavy-duty sportswear style that is kind of the look right now. And I'm specifically talking about, this is the summer of 2021, bicycle shorts, oversized t-shirt, gold chains, really chunky running shoes. And if that's you, all you gotta do is stay tuned, we're gonna talk about it. Now, I like clothing and I like fashion kind of as a spectator sport. It's not something I particularly have ever indulged heavily in. I would not say I'm a trendsetter. I'm not gonna say I'm the most fashionable woman ever, and I'm totally fine with that. I do love to look at fashion. I do love to look at the new trends. I'm not like super judgmental and like think things are tacky or whatever the case may be. Even though for me now I'm at an age where I've seen it all before, like the bicycle shorts and the oversized t-shirt was my look in the 90s, and so it's kind of cool to me actually that it's back. But these are just not for me, and if you feel that, well, you know, it is very hard to dress yourself. That is something that we all need to do, but if you are kind of just not really plugged into what's necessarily trending and you don't want to take part in all of that, I don't blame you. I'm the exact same way. This video is going to talk about some things that you can wear that'll be easier ways to sort of think about shopping, think about what you're wearing. You don't have to be a so-called fashion plate, but you do want to look good and kind of pulled together. Maybe you're over 40 like me, maybe you're not, but I hope to help you out with some of these things that I think are going to be kind of useful to you. It's going to be kind of a do's and don'ts. So let's get right into it. Okay, do realize that right now we're living in the time of sportswear, and actually nearly everything that we wear is sportswear, which is kind of weird to think about, but unless you're dressed quite formally in maybe a gown, everything else is sportswear, like even a suit. Oddly enough, actually the historical sort of idea behind it was actually for leisure sports like tennis and golf back in the sort of early 1900s. So everything that comes down from that, except for maybe denim jeans, which are sort of workwear, everything else pretty much is sportswear, like t-shirts, sportswear leggings. You know, I could go on and on and on. Yeah, they all come from a history of sportswear, and it's just at its zenith right now. We've lived through the pandemic where everybody was in sweatpants and nobody wanted to wear hard pants, which I guess include denim. So that's where we are right now. So realize that, and realize also culturally the emphasis right now is on hair and makeup and less so on your clothes. So maybe that's a good piece of news for you, so you can just keep on wearing your sweatsuits. I'm not here to tell you not to wear that. Actually, hair and makeup is more important right now than your garments. Isn't that interesting? And my next tip is don't buy blue jeans. The realm of blue jeans right now is incredibly confusing. So they've declared the skinny jean as completely dead and old-fashioned. I personally think that it has just become like a staple, like a wardrobe staple, and it's completely appropriate to wear your skinny jeans still. It's fine, but what I would say is blue jeans are very hard to find right now, and if you go, the chances are very high you're just gonna be frustrated because the silhouettes have changed so drastically in less than a space of a year. Now people are talking big mom jeans, or like some people are wearing flare legs, some very daring people are back to the low rise. It is just incredibly confusing, and I find that if you buy a pair of blue jeans, chances are you're gonna spend so much time, effort, and energy looking for a pair, and they're not gonna be flattering, and that's because the silhouettes and what they're selling now new at the retail level is very changed from what we're used to, and that you will just find that to be a source of frustration. And also then there's the whole range of blues. Which blue should you buy? The washes are incredibly diverse, and there's even acid wash. For a lot of us, we're like, I'm not going back to acid wash, there's just no way. I would say though, if you have blue jeans, certainly keep wearing what you already own. I'm not trying to say trash those or don't wear blue jeans. Keep what you have and you like and wear those, but maybe now's not the time to indulge in the market. It is a very confused marketplace for the different denim silhouettes. I would say just steer clear of it. And if you do need jeans for whatever reason, I don't know why you would absolutely have to have jeans, but some of us, that's our like favorite pant or whatever, maybe stick to black or gray. I find that those can be a little bit more forgiving and they go with a lot more different things. They're just not as tricky to pick as a blue shade. And then the silhouette, because you've got to match like the silhouette of the jeans and like the shade, and that can feel very confusing, and it's not your fault. I'm just saying if you're experiencing that, it's totally not you. It's what's going on right now in the trend realm of what's on offer, especially at like fast fashion retailers, even just like expensive jean places themselves. They make all these different shapes and you're just like, well, which one am I supposed to wear right now? The answer is just don't bother, okay? Really just don't bother right now until things calm down and settle down a little bit, because things are just up in the air. My next do is do own a sundress. This is appropriate for every age. Don't feel like you're mutton dressed as lamb. And that's one from my mother-in-law. She's from Ireland. She's elderly now and she's got some great gems. Another one of sayings. Another one is empty vessels make the most noise. So wrap your head around that one. A good sundress is a must. You know, we're coming now where I am to the end of the summer season, but a mistake that I see women who are like not in their 20s making is they're like often overdressed. They will not wear a sundress. You absolutely can and should wear a sundress. It is appropriate to a very hot climate. So if you have one now, great, they'll be on sale right now at this time of year. You will need it next summer. And also if you take like a vacation to a hot spot, if you're lucky enough to be able to do that, you will be able to wear your sundress again too. You don't have to boil just because you're not 20 anymore. Just putting that out there. My next tip is blazers. And I think that everybody should own 3 blazers. They are just such an easy way to feel much more pulled together. So you have to go to like, I don't know, even a basic thing like a parent-teacher meeting or like all these other little things, go out for brunch with a friend. All you need is a blazer and you can pretty much be wearing the rattiest things underneath. And I say this from personal experience. You could be wearing like a t-shirt with a hole in it and leggings that the thighs have rubbed out and just throw like a crisp looking blazer over it and you instantly elevate the look to acceptable. Places that I like to shop, I think J. Crew makes really nice blazers. I got this one, believe it or not. This is a thrifted one. And they still make it, and I paid $10 for it. And when I check the inside of the tag, and just so you know, if you're ever finding thrifted items, you can look inside the tag and it will tell you what season it was made, the stuff at J. Crew, and this one says FA20, so it was fall 2020, so that's like less than a year old. So this is like a less than a year old jacket that retails for like nearly $300, but J. Crew has some great sales. They make some nice classics. Zara is a great source for blazers as well. And the other place, of course, is Poshmark, which I like to encourage because I like to myself even now start indulging more in thrift buys and saving money and putting that money towards things that I want, and then I sell my things and that ends up costing me nothing over on Poshmark because they sell things I don't want anymore, and then if I accumulate that money I can buy things I actually want. Okay, I will stop. I talk about Poshmark a lot when I talk about fashion here. It's just because I'm really enjoying it. So right, 3 blazers. I think you should have a nice black blazer. I think that you should have another blazer maybe in navy or gray like this one, and I think that you should have like a summer weight maybe linen blend lighter blazer that will work well if you like are somewhere that has a lot of air conditioning and you also just want to, like say you're going out for dinner and then you want to like cover your arms. A nice linen blazer is gonna make you look elevated, elegant, and I guess age appropriate if that matters to you. It kind of matters to me a little bit, I guess, but they're just absolutely perfect for that. Do get a pair of all white sneakers, and I personally like Adidas. They make really nice flat ones. Nike makes them, Puma makes them. The key is to get them all white though, not to get one that's like mostly white with like green stripes or something like that. Look for one that is like predominantly white and doesn't really have any other colors sticking out. And if you get those, you can wear them with pretty much anything. You can pair them with the sundress we talked about. You can pair them with your janky leggings and your blazer like I also talked about. They are a real heavy hitter in your wardrobe. And let's face it, who is really wearing heels? We're just coming out of the pandemic where we've been wearing bedroom slippers for like a year. So if you want just that slightly more elevated look, but you need comfort, white sneakers is the way to go. So I'm gonna tread lightly here because I don't wanna be judgmental, but I really think that we should avoid shopping at places like Forever 21 and H&M, and not just because it's the whole, those clothes are really meant for a much younger clientele. I really don't subscribe hugely to that theory, although I think sometimes it is true. You know, they have a whole line of jeans that are called like not your daughter's jeans that's supposed to appeal to women like in my demographic, even though they don't. I just think that the quality is not great. So the money that you spend is just like, it's actually a ripoff is also what I'm trying to say, even though the clothes are very cheap and they're not like ethically made, and that's fine. I'm not even getting to all of that. I just don't think that they're very good. And I think that they are just too trendy, if that makes sense. I think that a better bang for your buck, if you do go the fast fashion route, is actually Zara. They do have, or Zara, however you pronounce it. They do tend to have some classic styles thrown in there, and you do actually see more of an age range of women often when you go into that shop, and that's because they do a lot of workwear, right? So they do a lot of stuff that would be appropriate for the office. And I think that you can probably get yourself pretty well set up there. I would say just steer clear entirely of Forever 21 and H&M. The chances are you're not likely that you're gonna find something that you like there if you're not like very fashion trend driven. It can be just too much in those stores, and they're overwhelming with the amount of stuff that they have in them. Gap I find actually to be a really good source for sweaters, especially 100% cotton. So when I look through the sweaters, one of the things that I'm always looking for is 100% cotton. They just tend to wear better. It's a better fiber, and I don't like Gap's t-shirts. They just never seem to last, and they're sort of long sleeve t-shirts. I just don't bother buying from there at all. I don't find those to be very good quality. So hopefully those tips work for you. Gap, as you know, has like a really great policy of being able to like order online, and they make it very easy for you to return it. So I do that sometimes. I try to limit though. I try to limit all of these things. So if I am buying one, I'm trying to get rid of one as well. So trying not to buy too many new sweaters and t-shirts unless I really need it, and the other one is just shredded, right? So now that I've mentioned t-shirts, let's talk about that, because that's a basic, and they can be hard to find when you're not trying to get like a super boxy, trendy, big oversized t-shirt, right? Where do we get t-shirts? Let's talk about that next. So these days my favorite source for t-shirts is just like Marshalls or TJ Maxx, and the reason is just that they have a lot on offer. It's not like when you go to the Gap. If you do go to the Gap, it's like 3 types of t-shirts and they're all the same. There's just lots of different sizes. I find at Marshalls, like I just like the way that they're laid out, and you can kind of just go through them and see what you think is gonna fit. So I find that to be the best source, and I try and buy I try and have like one white t-shirt and one black t-shirt, and if I have just those 2 t-shirts, I find that you can go a lot. I'm just like wearing one of the white ones I have from Marshalls right now, and if you just have those 2 shades and a gray one, that's like a bonus one. But if you have those 3 t-shirts, that's kind of what you need. So black, white, and gray, if you have those, then you kind of have the capsule of t-shirts that you need for your wardrobe. Yeah, so Marshalls, TJ Maxx, also called Winners here in Canada. So the last point I wanted to make, and something that maybe my generation, I'm 44, so if you're my age, thrifting was like kind of, unless you grew up with it or you had friends or you were particularly interested in it, or maybe you just didn't have a lot of money, which I can certainly relate to. I certainly didn't growing up, but I didn't thrift then. I want to just like lessen my impact, because fast fashion, in the 90s, fast fashion wasn't what it is now. Back then, a t-shirt cost me, I think, more than I'm paying now for t-shirts. The price has come down tremendously. The volume has gone up. There's all these new players in the game, and they just make garments and they don't get purchased, and it's bad, right? I'm not judging you if you shop fast fashion. I certainly do. Sometimes. I just told you my Marshall story, but I'm trying now to incorporate thrifted items into my life. I do that through Poshmark. Here's a tip for Poshmark. Know your measurements if you want to buy something. Especially important is the bust and the waist and the hips. So make sure you know those. Get out the measuring tape before you buy anything. If they don't offer the measurement and you want to purchase something, ask them what the measurement is. Ask them to measure it for you, and they will most of the time. I just want to show you this great thing that I found though, like thrifting, which is this pencil skirt that I got. This is wool, and it's my first designer pencil skirt. This is a Valentino skirt, and it was $5.99. Can you believe that? It is really, really pretty. I'm not gonna wear it here, but the tailoring on it is just it's so impeccable. It just does this tiny little at the hips. This is the Valentino Miss V, which is a diffusion brand pencil skirt, 100% wool. I believe it comes from the 90s or the early 2000s. I did look it up. And here's another interesting thing. When I was doing my research, they pop it up on eBay, and it's only like $30 on eBay. So I think that if you wanted to go the eBay vintage route, I mean, it's still affordable, right? Like, where are you gonna get a Valentino skirt that has got the nicest textile I've ever felt, wool, for $6 or $30 if you buy it via eBay? Unbelievably affordable stuff. And the quality is just like unmatched. You will never find anything at your fast fashion places that will nearly match that in terms of tailoring, looks, or longevity, because I think that the person had this, wore it quite a bit, but there's a ton of life still left in it. It is beautiful. So when I keep finding finds like that, it keeps me going. I'm not like super knowledgeable at thrifting or anything like that, but I have a really good store, a Salvation Army, pretty close to my house, because I live in Toronto and my neighboring neighborhood is Forest Hill. So if you know Toronto, you know Forest Hill is a very exclusive neighborhood, and I often see those like BMWs and Mercedes pulling up and like unloading their unloading their bags of donations, and I guess stuff like that is in the bags of donations, and here's me to scoop it up. I also got a Coach purse from that location, and that was, I think, $8 I paid for it, and I got a beautiful Cole Haan woven purse that's like in really nice condition. I paid also $8 for that. Like, the steals are incredible. Like I said, I got this blazer, barely worn, brand new condition, $10. I mean, come on. You can't beat those prices, right? So I do encourage you, if you didn't grow up thrifting and if you just feel like you're too old or like it's not your thing, maybe just give it a try now. You can do it online as well, like Poshmark. You don't even have to leave your house. That's an app you can use. I do have a code for that. I will leave it down below. I think that if you sign up for the first time on Poshmark, we both get $15 or something like that when you make your first purchase or something like that. But anyway, it doesn't really matter to me whether you use my code or not. I'm just trying to encourage you maybe to think outside of the box, because it does get harder. When you do go into the Forever 21s, you often feel like that's they haven't made anything for you, and that's because they really haven't made anything for you. Their average age is probably 22 or something like that of who they're trying to attract. So that's not me anymore. Okay, so I hope that that was helpful. I know that those tips were a little bit kind of all over the place. The thing about fashion though is like, you know, people can give you rules for fashion, like what to wear, what silhouettes. So individual, every body shape is different, every body type is different, everybody's taste is different. Those are kind of useless. So I tried to give you more guidelines, and I hope that they were helpful. So thank you so much for watching, and we will see you soon on the next video.